This is what happens when you get locked in the school bathroom. So he asks to go to the bathroom. He walks down the empty hallway, pushes the bathroom door open, and does his business. But when he's ready to leave... What the heck? The door won't budge. It's like somebody locked it from the outside. He's pushing, pulling, nothing. He checks his phone. Crap, there's no signal in here. Now at this point, he's already been gone 8 minutes. So I guess he does the only logical thing. He looks at the ceiling. Crap. He steps on the sink, he pushes open the ceiling tile, and he army crawls through the drop ceiling. Now he thinks he's going towards the hallway, he hopes so, and right when he thinks he's above the hallway, he lifts the tile open, but he falls right through. There you are. Right there was his teacher and the vice principal. What on earth are you doing? The bathroom door was locked. So you climbed through the ceiling? I mean, I couldn't just stay in there, right? Well, you could have knocked or yelled for help. Also, the bathroom's not locked. Here's what happened. When he got in the bathroom, did his business, he was about to leave. And he tried opening the door, but it wasn't the bathroom door, it was the supply closet door in the bathroom. They looked very similar. But he panicked, didn't look around to see if the actual door is right there, so he climbed through the ceiling. You know what? Just come to my office. You're getting detention. And he got a detention for property damage and making terrible decisions. Have you ever wondered how a middle school science lesson could save an entire building from exploding? This 8th grader named John was sitting in chemistry class learning about natural gas. His teacher explained that rotten egg smell isn't actually natural. They add a chemical called mercaptan so people can detect leaks. Your nose can literally smell it at 1 part per billion. Regardless, John thought this was cool. Hey, that's cool. Well, the very next day, during a science lab in a different science class, he noticed a very faint smell of rotten eggs. He raised his hand and said, "Mr. Stevens, I think there might be a gas leak." Well, the teacher brushed it off and said, "John, that's probably from a different experiment or you're making things up." "No, I'm serious. It smells exactly like what Mr. Zern taught us yesterday." But the teacher told him just to sit down and stop disrupting class, please. So John did something bold. He walked straight to the office and he told the principal, "There's a gas leak in the lab. I'm pretty positive." The principal took him very seriously and he pulled the fire alarm himself and evacuated the entire school. Turns out there was a massive gas leak in the science building. The fire department said that if anybody lit a burner, which they were going to, the whole science wing could have exploded. John literally saved the school because he remembered a lesson from the day before. And yeah, that teacher definitely apologized to him. Big time. That's insane. Everybody liked this one guy. Yo, what's up? Like everybody. He was popular, funny. He was always the center of every single party. So one night, there's this big party at somebody's house. And everybody's there. It's packed, there's music going, people chilling. Yo, this is a killer party, Johnny. Hey, thanks, man. I'm just honored that you're here. But you see, not everybody liked that kid. I hated him. So the kid that did not like him was talking to his friend. I just don't like the guy. Yeah, I don't like him that much anymore either. Dude, I'm in a group chat with him and look what he's been saying. You see. He gets shown this group chat and the popular kid is in this group chat talking trash about everybody, even his friends, even the girls he's currently hanging out with at the party. Hey, screenshot these and send me them. Okay. Don't say it was me. So he gets the screenshot, and then he plugs his phone into the HDMI port of the TVs in the living room of this party, and he pulls up all the screenshots. He turns off the music. Everybody, look! And he has these screenshots of all the horrible stuff he said just right there on the TV. Wait, what? No. That's not me. People are mad. No, guys, they're jokes. I'm just joking in these. But it's too late. He had fallen from grace and he was shoved out of that party really quick. The next day he was at school. He went from popular to loser really quick. Hey, that's karma. This neighbor tried to get them in trouble. This mom and her kids moved into this small neighborhood. And at first it's quiet and nice, but one day the neighbor tries to give them a hard time. He called the city on her, claims the shed that's in her backyard is illegal and needs to be torn down. Their shed in the backyard is illegal and needs to be torn down. Well, the inspector shows up, checks the permit, checks the shed, and everything's fine. He leaves. The shed is perfectly legal. It's been there for years. The neighbor's just being difficult for no reason. The neighbor keeps acting smug, keeps calling the city on them for different things every single day. Well, that's when one of the kids starts to do some digging, Googling city codes, property lines, utility easements, and that shiny new pool the neighbor had. It was built too close to the fence, and it was built directly over the utility line. So very illegal. One day the kid goes out there and starts taking pictures. Let me see this pool. Photos sent to the city. Reports filed, and the city gives him a choice. You gotta move the pool or fill it in. How am I supposed to move the pool? Exactly. So he was forced to drain it, tear up the concrete, and fill it in with dirt. $40,000 down the drain, quite literally. And that is some petty revenge. This family doesn't do game night. They do drills, fire drills, earthquake drills, intruder drills, and not because they're paranoid, because they think it's fun. Okay, guys, fire drill time. All right, family, earthquake drill. All right, guys, intruder drill, milk drill. Go to bed, Grandpa. Each week, a different family member hosts the drill. Whoever's hosting the drill has to make it as real as they possibly can. At first, it started basic. Fire drill was yelling, there was timers and alarm, but then they would get creative. They put out space heaters in the doorways to make it feel hot. They turned the heat up to 90 degrees in the house, even in the summer. They pumped fake smoke from a fog machine. It was nuts. The earthquake drill. They moved the furniture ahead of time. They would blast low frequency bass through the speakers, makes the house seem like it's vibrating. And they would have their friends come over and slam a bunch of doors to make it seem like the house is falling apart. Now, they would do multiple fire drills, multiple earthquake drills. What they would do is they would just try to improve it every single time they would do it. Now, the intruder drills are where things kind of got out of hand. The son hires a guy to come in the house at 2:14 in the morning to break in, essentially. Well, he gets there. What does he want me to do? The door's locked. What is that? He tries the windows. They're locked as well. What the heck? This guy's an actor, right? He thought he was doing an acting gig. Then he looks at the second floor window and he sees the kid that hired him. Psst, actually break in. What? So he does. He takes a rock and he smashes the window. And the family, they start screaming. Although they know it's a drill. They're just playing the part. So they know it's a drill. He knows it's a drill. But the neighborhood does not. And the police are called immediately. Yeah, somebody's breaking into my neighbor's house right now. The cops come and they actually arrest this dude. And he's trying to say like, no, this is fake. They hired me. And the police are like, yeah, right. So they take him to the station. The family then shows up to the police station and tries to explain, yo, we actually hired him. Here's the messages. This is just a drill. And although that is insane, that sounds kind of awesome. This teacher was so strict for no reason. Her class was the only class in school that had this rule. No backpacks at your desks ever. They stay in your locker. Backpacks couldn't be under your chairs, couldn't be under your desks, couldn't be leaning against the wall. And if you forgot something, too bad. No trips to your locker, no borrowing stuff from other students. She wouldn't even lend kids a pencil if they needed it. Miss, can I have a pencil? If you forgot your supplies, that meant a 0 for the day. Well, kids usually messed up. Some kids forgot their notebooks, some forgot their papers, pencils. It was a thing, and they were getting 0s. And she wouldn't even bend a little. You know the rule. Well, one day the class decides to coordinate. Every single student in that class on this particular day went in with nothing. No notebooks, no pencils, no pens, no papers, nothing. They were there just themselves. They sit down, they fold their hands in front of them, and they just stare ahead. The teacher looks confused. Then she starts handing out the worksheets for the day. No one moves. Why is nobody writing? We all forgot everything today, Mrs. Cabinet. If we had our backpacks, maybe we'd have our stuff. Oh, well, you all know the rule. The entire class gets a 0 for that day. The next day, they do the same thing, and they get a 0 again. The third day in a row, the class is sticking to their guns. They're all showing up with nothing. They get a 0 again. Parents start calling, asking why their students' grades are tanking. The principal sits in one day and figures out what's going on. Milk! The students were then allowed to bring their backpacks to class. The frickin' protest worked. And those 0s got erased from the gradebook. Their grades were back to normal. That's right. This could have been so bad. In this one class, he used to sit in the same seat every single day. Front row in the middle, nothing too special about it. Well, one particular morning, he noticed the person that usually sits right to the left of him was absent. So there was an empty desk right there. And he decided for that day he was going to sit there. Class then starts like normal. About 25 minutes in, there's a large crack. Then another. Then the overhead projector that is directly above his normal seat falls down and crashes onto that empty desk. That could have been you. Yeah, I know. Oh. and it went down fast. The desk was now cracked. Imagine if he was sitting there. The room was frozen, like holy crap, this could have been horrible. Maintenance comes in, they pick it up, they make sure nobody's hurt, and then they just go on about their day. But that day could have gone a whole lot differently if his classmate wasn't sick, and if he decided he wasn't gonna switch seats. But he did, and life went on. Somebody's looking out for him. This English teacher was super chill. Okay guys, late homework can be turned in at any time up until the last week of school. Dude, that's awesome. You can turn your homework in up until the last week of school, and I'll take no points off. He figured that this would encourage students to just do their homework at their own pace and do it well. Well, one kid takes advantage of this situation. He doesn't turn in homework all year. Weeks pass. Then months, the teacher assumes this kid just dropped the ball and that he's not going to turn it in ever. Until the final week of school. He brings a stack of worksheets and essays to this teacher's desk. And I mean stacks. All right, here you go. Yo, what is this? It's late homework. Remember what you said? I also emailed you 6 of the book reports, so those should be in your inbox now. All right, thanks, teach. I hate my life. So now this teacher, on the last week of school, has to grade a crap ton of homework. It's the last thing he wants to do. Oh, I am never doing this ever again. The next year, all right, guys, welcome to class. Homework is due when it's due. There is no exceptions for late work. Dang. That kid ruined it for everybody. This is wild. So this couple lives in an old house. Winter hits and the mice show up. And this is pretty normal. She has a full operation to catch these mice every single year. She has mouse traps hidden everywhere. She checks them twice a day and they're constantly being reloaded. And the bait she uses? Peanut butter. The mice love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. At first, they only had one peanut butter jar that they used. And for every trap, she would use a clean knife. So she would go in, set the trap, throw this knife into the sink, grab a new knife, take the peanut butter, set the trap, watch that one. So she's never double dipping the mice knife into the peanut butter so it doesn't get contaminated. It's too many dishes, it's too much work, but then she finds this peanut butter jar in the cabinet, the kind that her husband hates. Hey, I found this peanut butter jar in the cabinet. Do you mind if I use it for the mouse traps? Yeah, it's totally fine. She writes in the lid in big letters, mouse only. She puts it on the sides as well. It's impossible to miss. And now she was finally able to double dip the knife in the peanut butter to set the traps. So this peanut butter is now fully contaminated with like mice cooties. Well, weeks later, her husband's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He calmly says, I really don't like creamy peanut butter. She freezes. Which jar did you use? That one. The frickin' mouse jar. That's the peanut butter I use to set the mouse traps. It is 100% contaminated. He loses his frickin' mind. I'm losing my frickin' mind right now. That's disgusting. He says she should have hidden this jar. How would he know that it was for the mice? Because I wrote mouse only all over it. She points out that he agreed to this. It was labeled, and he ignored everything. He was angry at her for weeks, but she did nothing wrong. This one is on him. Every single dog in the neighborhood knew this kid, even the mean ones. This kid made it a point. Every afternoon he would walk the neighborhood, stopping at every fence of every house that had a dog. Small dogs, big dogs, mean dogs, dogs with the sign, do not pet. The ones that would bark nonstop, the ones that would continuously growl. He would go to each one. He would crouch, he would talk to them softly, bring them pieces of ham or chicken or turkey. Hey, you're a big mean dog, are you? Hey, here's some turkey. Oh, here's some chicken. Yeah. Oh, here's a toy. Day after day, he was earning the respect of these dogs. Some dogs took weeks, some dogs took months, but eventually every single dog knew him and loved him. To the point where whenever he would walk by, the barking and growling would stop, and they would start wagging their tails. Well, one afternoon, this kid is sitting in his front yard. He's carving a little canoe out of a log with a knife. He's focused, like he's some sort of woodsman. It's very nice. This is good cedar. Then he hears it. Heavy paws, deep growling, the rattling of a collar. And he looks up. Down the street, one of the neighborhood's scariest, meanest dogs got loose. And this dog is sprinting towards a neighbor that's walking alone. The neighbor does not know what to do, so he freezes. This kid knows this is freaking bad. This dog is about to attack this guy. So he tries to stop it. He stands up and he yells, "Rufus!" The dog skids to a stop, takes his eyes off the neighbor, and looks at the kid. And immediately the dog is now happy. He jogs past the neighbor, straight to the kid. The kid gives him some turkey and takes him by the collar. He then walks the dog back to his house and knocks on the door. Hi, so your dog likes me, but he doesn't like everybody. You gotta get him some training. I saved you big time today. Kid then goes back to his yard, sits down, and finishes carving the canoe out of the wood. Like nothing happened. What an absolute legend. This is insane. So this one school's cafeteria used real silverware, actual metal forks, knives, and metal spoons. And every day after lunch, kids are supposed to take the silverware and put it in these tubs right next to the garbage can so the school can wash them. But over the course of like 5 months, the school began noticing their supply of spoons was dwindling. What in the world is happening to our spoons? The lunch staff thought the kids were accidentally throwing these spoons in the garbage. So they began making announcements and posters.
Attention students, make sure you put the silverware back in the tubs. Don't throw them away.
But it didn't stop. You're missing hundreds more spoons now. Guys, hundreds! Nobody had any clue what the heck was happening. Because it wasn't a whole school issue. It was one kid. Every day at lunch, he would pocket a spoon, or 2, or 3, but never more than 4 a day. Not for a plan or a prank. He was just like collecting them. I like spoons. He kept them inside his locker, in a flimsy grocery bag hanging from the hook. Months go by. The bag gets heavier and heavier. The plastic grocery bag stretches thinner and thinner. Then one morning before first period, as the hallway is packed and it's loud, he swings open his locker and the bag finally gives out. It rips straight down the middle and hundreds of metal spoons start pouring out of his locker onto the floor. And the sound is insane, like someone dropped an incredibly heavy toolbox down a flight of stairs. Once they all fall, he just stands there staring at the pile on the hallway floor. It's the end of an era. Within 5 minutes, the entire school knew what had been happening with the spoons. He got into big trouble. The rest of that year, they called him Spoon Kid, and he was kind of a legend. Gotta respect Spoon Kid. When this kid was 5, his parents convinced him that if he didn't do chores or he didn't help them around the house, the lazy monster would get him and he would die. It's true. Just straight up death. So he goes into survival mode. Every day, whenever he has free time, he's sweeping, dusting, reorganizing, folding laundry, and his parents loved it. They're sitting there chilling and their 6-year-old kid is doing the house chores. And this happens for years. Years later, he's 11 now, tells his friends about the lazy monster. Yeah, I can't hang out because I gotta go wash the bathroom, otherwise the lazy monster is gonna get me. His friends are like, what? He explains more. Then his friends say, dude, that's actually crazy that you believe that. Parents are tricking you, dude. And it clicked. His entire worldview collapses, and he immediately feels like he wasted years of his life. He storms home and he demands his parents tell him why they did this. And all they could say was, you'll get over it. That's definitely not okay. There was a kid named Ian. He was the shortest kid in elementary school. The bullies loved making fun of him. Hey, short stack, what's the weather like down there? Bruh. One night he came home and he sat at the kitchen table and he talked to his dad. Dad, they won't leave me alone. His dad didn't tell him to ignore it. His dad didn't call to school. Ian, come with me. I want to show you something. They go downstairs and Ian realizes that this corner of the basement wasn't used for storage. There was a punching bag there. A full boxing setup. Gloves, wraps, a speed bag, a heavy bag. Like a mini gym in this corner of their basement. Whoa. Son, you're going to train. You're not going to train to hurt them. You train so you don't feel so helpless. So Ian starts practicing every day, day after day, and he's getting pretty good. Then, one day in the cafeteria, Ian's carrying his lunch. He walks past the bully's table and he tries to ignore them. One of the bullies steps up and smacks the tray into his face. Food everywhere, milk dripping down his shirt. Everybody's laughing at him. And then Ian snaps. He puts his tray down calmly, walks straight up to that bully, pops him right in the face. Then another one. Clean, quick punches. The bully's stunned. He falls down. He's like, all right, stop. All right, stop. Ian walks away. He's taken to the office and he's suspended for a whole week. But nobody messed with him ever again. He never had to use his boxing skills ever again. But he knows he has them, and if he has to use them, he will respect. One day, this strict teacher stepped into the classroom supply closet. Class, be quiet. I need to step into the closet really fast. And this closet was pretty tight, really small. So she steps in, and this one kid sneaks up to the closet, slams the door, and locks her in it. Help me. Somebody help me. At first, everybody was silent, and then they just started laughing. And each student in that classroom left, leaving her locked in the supply closet. Now, I get that she's strict, but this is not something to do to your teacher. An hour later, another teacher heard the screams coming from this empty classroom. She goes in there. "Oh my God, Mrs. Donahue, I'm dying." She let her out, and the teacher that was locked in there just collapsed, shaking, crying on the floor. After that day, she took 2 weeks off, and every single student in that classroom got into huge trouble. Good. It started with strawberry milk. Cafeteria strawberry milk. Everyone knew this one kid loved it. I freaking love it. So one day, his friend group makes a deal. All right, so for every strawberry milk carton you finish, we'll all pay you $1. $1 per milk? Easy. So kids start sliding in these strawberry milk cartons across the table. And now he's got a bunch in front of him. Guys, this is going to be awesome. I love strawberry milk. The first carton goes down easy. The second carton, still good. Third carton, confidence is growing. I got this. All right, it's $3 so far, man. By the time lunch is halfway over, there's a crowd forming around him, cheering for him. Come on, man, you got this. That's really impressive. Milk. That's $15 so far, man. The kid keeps drinking. The money keeps stacking. Carton number 18. He stops in his tracks. Silence. And then it happens. A violent, unstoppable stream of neon pink vomit explodes across the lunch table, covering trays, shoes, people's faces. Everyone begins to scatter, running away from this horrible scene. He got to keep the money, but ever since that day, he has not been able to drink milk ever again, and strawberry milk was his favorite. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. There's this freshman kid at a new school. He's smart, he's quiet, but he's convinced that the only way people will like him is if he gives them something. So he gives everything. Answers for worksheets, extra help on projects. He does other people's homework to make it easier on them. People thank him in the moment, and they're grateful, but that's about it. Nobody actually wants to hang out with him. One day after school, he's venting to his mom. "People only talk to me when I give them something, and then they never want to hang out with me." He's saying stuff like how he thought he had friends, but it turns out he actually has none. She listens, and then blurts out words without even thinking. "Well, maybe they don't hang out with you because you're basically a doormat." A doormat! He goes quiet and nods, and he goes to his room, and he cries himself to sleep. That's sad, dude. In 8th grade, there was a social studies teacher that never gave homework. Like ever. And she was universally loved for it. Then one random Tuesday, she assigns the class homework. And the next day, nobody turned it in. Not one person. And she just detonates. "Well, I bet you all did your math homework last night, didn't you? Because everyone respects math. Who cares about social studies?" Everyone's like, what the heck is going on? Then, without warning, she steps on a desk, grabs the overhead projector, tears it down, and slams it on the floor. She grabs her keys, walks out the door, and she never returns for the rest of the school year. That's absolute nuts. This school had a zero tolerance rule, and it sounded fair until kids realized what that actually meant. If a fight happened, everybody involved would get the same punishment. Didn't matter who started it. Didn't matter who swung first. If you were involved, it was all the same. And on paper, it was supposed to stop the bullying. In reality, it did the opposite. The bullies figured it out fast. They'd corner somebody, shove them, taunt them, and then they would say the same thing. "Go ahead, hit me, loser. You're getting in trouble regardless." But you won't. And the victims, they learned the lesson as well. If they stayed still and took the beating, they'd be punished. If they would fight back, they'd also be punished. It was the same outcome. So something changed. Kids who usually froze stopped freezing. If I'm getting in trouble either way, I'm not holding back. Fights stopped becoming these quick one-sided scuffles. They became explosive, unpredictable. One day, a bully was picking on this kid he normally does. Idiot, loser, freak. And the kid that he was bullying went feral, shoved him so hard he fell through the classroom window. One fight was so nuts, it took 5 staff members to break it up. And this was all because of the zero tolerance rules. These kids that were picked on were not holding back anymore. They're like, screw this. I'm not taking it if I'm going to get in trouble as well. The school administration eventually started to panic. The rule meant to stop violence made it more extreme. They then changed the rule back to what it was before this, but it was never really the same after that. That's nuts. It started stupidly small. He's in his yard and he sees a single crow staring at him. "What's up, crow?" And he went inside and got a cracker and tossed this one crow a cracker. Well, that's it. That's the moment his life changed forever. Because the next morning, there's 3 crows waiting. Yo, There's 3 of you now. All right, here. 3 crackers. The next morning, there's 9 crows. Oh my God. A full-on crowd of crows waiting for their daily crackers every single morning. And it doesn't just stop there. If he walks to his car, they follow him. If he walks his dog, they're behind him, flying over or hopping on the sidewalk. Every so often, they would drop gifts to him, like a shiny gum wrapper, or a twig, or an apple core, like gifts. Oh, thank you for the Slim Jim. I appreciate it. Then he realizes he's the leader of the crows. Every day they're there. They think of him like their mother. And he can't even take the trash out without crows surrounding him like Secret Service. It's absolutely insane. This teacher's bogus for this. One morning in this class, everyone was supposed to present these dioramas. And these kids had spent a lot of time on these. They're all lined up on tables. Castles, volcanoes, rainforests. The entire room looks like an art fair. Well, then one kid starts messing around, weaving between tables, being kind of reckless, and then, bam, he stumbles onto someone's project. Oh, crunch. The trees snap in half. Clay figures all across the floor. This kid's diorama was completely ruined. Dude, what are you doing? Wasn't my fault. The teacher walks over, takes one look, and says, maybe you should have put it somewhere secure. Now you're not ready for your presentation. What? Let this be a lesson to you. In life, you must always have a backup plan. And that kid failed the assignment, all because some nutcase slammed into it and broke his project. That is not fair. And that teacher is so messed up for this. So this one dude in this one class was huge. Tall, wide. And the way he would eat food was an operation. I know what I like. He would show up to class with a full row of cookies, 20-something, and he would stack them perfectly on one side of his desk. Then the system began. He would take one bite from the top cookie and put it to the right side of his desk. The next cookie, one bite, then on top of the cookie that's on the right side of his desk. Then the next, down the entire row. Each cookie with exactly one bite out of it, stacked on top of each other. When the whole tower has migrated to the right side, he didn't stop. He would just restart the cycle. A new bite off the top cookie moved to the left side of the desk. Then the other one. A new bite, then stacked on top of the cookie on the left side of the desk. Do you get what I'm saying here? Cookie, bite, stack, cookie, bite, stack. And he keeps restarting this process. Well, 15 minutes of rhythmic biting and stacking later, the entire tower of cookies was just gone. Desk wiped clean, 0 crumbs, like it never happened in the first place. And obviously, everyone in class saw him do this, but it was so strange and so weird that nobody ever said anything to him. That's nuts. Have you ever dissected a pig heart? Well, this one biology class did. Everyone in there, goggles on, little scalpels, and there was an extra supply of pig hearts sitting on one of the counters. Well, one kid, as they were leaving, grabbed a pig heart and put it in his pocket. Then his friend grabbed a pig heart and put it in his pocket. Half the class is stuffing these cold, nasty pig hearts into their pockets, backpacks, and duffel bags. It was absolutely disgusting. Then, after school, behind the field house, a crowd gathers. There's 2 rows of kids, each of them with a pig heart in their hand. Positions, 3, 2, 1. Begin. And just like that, this group of kids were playing dodgeball with biology class pig hearts that they were supposed to dissect. And it was, a mess. Pig hearts hitting kids in the face, splattering on the pavement. It was looking like a scene from a bad horror film. Eventually, the school officials came outside, saw what was going on, and each and every one of these kids were suspended for a week. I can honestly say I have never played pig heart dodgeball in my life. Would I? Maybe. He graduated 8th grade. I freaking did it. And his school gave him a free meal card for Cane's. I love Cane's. It was his golden ticket. He guarded it like it was a national treasure. But the thing is, whenever he was driving home or to somewhere with his mom, he would always ask, Mom, I'm hungry. Can I please use my Cane's card now? She would say, no, sweetie, because it's only for one Cane's meal. What about your siblings? They'll feel left out. Well, I can use the card and you can pay for their meals. You think I made the money? So the card just lived in his wallet, unused, waiting. Then one day, he goes into his wallet to look at it. It's gone, and he wasn't the one that used it. So now it's a full-blown investigation. He goes downstairs. Where's my Cane's card? Did somebody use my Cane's card? His little sister said, no. But he said in that moment, he began to smell the sauce. So he looks in the garbage can. Cane's box. You? His little sister cracks instantly. I went to a doctor's appointment today, and Mom took me to Cane's. She used her card. She grabbed it out of your wallet last night. His mom came home, and she didn't really have a reason why she did this. This kid was heartbroken. The betrayal was biblical. He didn't talk to his mom for weeks after that. That's messed up, dude.
পুরোটাই তো তোমার দোষ। তুমি কি জন্য ফোন দিচ্ছ সেটা বলো।
বাবু তুমি আমার থেকে 1.5 লাখ টাকা
আমি তোমাকে বিয়ে করতে চাই না।
মানে আপনার বয়ফ্রেন্ড ফোন দেয় নাই?
না
তোর কর্মকাণ্ড না আমার কখনোই পছন্দ হয়নি, তারপরও তোর আমি ছেড়ে যেতে পারি না। কেন জানো?
আচ্ছা আপনি যে স্ট্যামারিং করেন ডক্টর দেখিয়েছেন?
ডক্টর দেখিস।
ও মাই গড
ডেলি রিফ্রেশড
আই ট্রাই।
তো এই ট্রাইং দেখে মনে হইতেছে তোর
আমার বয়ফ্রেন্ড অনেক ভালো, আপনার গার্লফ্রেন্ডের মতো এত খারাপ না।
হ্যাঁ মতিন। কে?
আসলে না আমার মনটা অনেক খারাপ।
চোখ বন্ধ করেন।
আমি বুঝি না ভাই, তুই কি মানে তোর সমস্যা কি? তুই এনে কি করতেছিস? তোর কত সুন্দর একটা
গরিব তো কিছুদিন আগে না ওর চাকরি চলে গেছে, তো বলতেছে দোস্ত আমি তো গরিব মানুষ, আমার
কানপট্টি লাল করে ফেলবো যদি বেশি থাকো সুখে, বুঝছো? উল্টা পাল্টা যদি কিছু করছো না তুমি বুঝি।
ওনার কাছে ব্যাংক ওয়ালেট এটিএম বুঝছে না।
পিয়া কি তোরে বিয়ে করে লেগে রাজি হয়ে গেছে? অবশ্যই অবশ্যই করবে। আচ্ছা
কি সুন্দর। আপনি এতক্ষণ যে গানটা গাইছিলেন আমাকে গেয়ে শোনাবেন?
তুমি শুনবা?
হ্যাঁ।
তুই এদিকে আয়, তুই আসতে পারতাছিস না এদিকে?
আমি গতকাল রাতে মনে প্রাণে চাইছিলাম যাতে আর্জেন্টিনা জিতুক।
ও
তুমি নাকি তনুকে ঈদ কার্ড দিছো, সেটা নাকি আবার নিজের হাতে বানাইছো।
মাঠে চল। আমি মাঠে যাবো।
মাঠে যাবি না কেন?
মাঠে আসলে যাবো না। মাঠে চল। তবু আমি আজকে মাঠে যাবো না, তুই যা। মেয়েটা দেখছিস?
কোন মেয়েটা?
তোদের বাসার দোতলায় আসছে। এদিকে আয়, তুই আয়।
আরে তোমাকে একটা জিনিস দেব।
আপনার গান শুনে ছাদে আসলাম। আপনি গিটার বাজান বলেন নাই তো?
একদম ভেঙে পড়ছে না এটা।
কি
মাঠে খেলতে আসবি না বিকালে? আসিস দেখা। জানোস যখন তাহলে এত প্রশ্ন করস কেন? এনে চুপচাপ দাঁড়ায় থাক।
আর রূপাকে যে চিঠি লিখছিস সেই চিঠি এখন আব্বার হাতে। আব্বা ঘরে অপেক্ষা করতেছে তোর জন্য। চল আমার সাথে।
আমি 330 টাকা ম্যানেজ করছি, আর 170 টাকা ম্যানেজ করতে আমার একদিন সময় লাগবে।
330 টাকা
আমার জন্য একটাই নেন, আমিও 500 টাকা দিব।
নেবেন?
হ্যাঁ
ঠিক আছে।
আমি তোরে বলতে পারি এইরকম মেয়ে আমাদের মহল্লায় নেই। আরে মহল্লা কি,
দেখি সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে আসে নাকি?
ইসলামপুর থেকেই আসে, কিন্তু জিনিসটা তো স্পেশাল এবং খরচও বেশি।
আমি ওদের নিচ থেকে দেখছিলাম, ছাদে আসছিল, বেগুনি রঙের একটা কামিজ পরা।
কাগজ টাগজ দিয়ে এই তোর পড়াশোনা নাই? হ্যাঁ মা,
আরে এটা তো কমন জিনিস, আর্জেন্টিনা হারছে না, ও তো আর্জেন্টিনার সাপোর্টার।
অয়ন ভাই, আমি তো কার্ডটা নিব ভাই, আমি তো বলি নাই আমি নিব না, শুধু আমার টাকাটা এখনো ম্যানেজ হয় নাই।
বিয়ের আগে আমার জন্য কি কি কাণ্ড করেছো, এটা মেয়ের কাছে লুকাতে চাইছো তাই না?
কি রে, কই যাইতেছস? আরে মহল্লা নাকি একটা নতুন দোকান হয়েছে, ফয়সাল করলে অনেক সুন্দর সুন্দর ঈদ কার্ড পাওয়া যায়।
এনে কি করছ?
এমনি আসছি আর কি।
আমার দেখো, আমি কিন্তু এখন আর ছোট নাই, আমি বড় হয়েছি, আর সামনে ঈদ। আমার
এবার আমি চিন্তা করছি কি জানো, সবগুলো ঈদ কার্ড নিজের হাতে বানাবো, দোকান থেকে কিনে দেওয়ার চেয়ে নিজের হাতে বানানো ভালো।
তাই নাকি?
কেন আপনি কালকে খেলা দেখেন নাই? কি অবস্থা দেখছেন, যে ফর্ম এই